Have you seen videos where they use the non-metallic metallics? Well, stop wasting your time. I want more metals, more iron, more steel. Gorgon demands it. I mean, why else would they make metal paints for? Now let's hard carry the entire Horus Heresy with this awesome Breacher Sergeant. Let's get started. Step 1, we're gonna use no other than Iron Warriors, and we're gonna paint the whole mini it. Now, one cannot simply paint an Iron Warrior without hazard stripes. First, we're gonna start off with some Everland Sunset or some Imperial Yellow. And we're just gonna wanna use the paintbrush thickness as the thickness for our stripes. I did this on the shield, the shoulders, as well as the knees. Step 3, we're gonna use contrast black Templar or a slightly watered down Abaddon black to paint the black part of the hazard stripes. We want it to be slightly watered down since it'll be easier to glide and paint those fine kind of lines and sharp points. Next, we're gonna use Iron Breaker. We want this to be used for our general brighter highlights. So we don't wanna just focus on edges, but just larger areas as well. And we're just gonna tap it in, and we wanna stay away from joints and where the armor plates meet. Now for the brightest of highlights, we're gonna use Stormhost Silver. And here we do wanna focus on the edges and the bolts. I just like to use the end of my brush to kind of tap in on those edges. Then if you wanna do just little extra brighter highlights, like on the arm or maybe on the back of the leg, just go over the area that you already went with Iron Breaker and just kind of tap it in with the brush. Now I want the shield to have a slightly more weathered look. So instead of just focusing on the edge, I sort of just messy tapped it in with the brush like this. That way it's just kind of being pushed into the shield and it just kind of this little brighter push into it. And I also did this on the back of the shield as well. Now this is the step you're probably thinking, it's time for Agrex's Earthshade. And you're wrong! In this one, we're gonna start off with some dried bark and we're gonna go ahead and place that on a plate. Next, we're gonna use a little bit of contrast black Templar and we're gonna mix it in with the dried bark until it's like this dark, muddy looking color. And we do this because the dried bark was just not dark enough, or that dark, grody, muddy color that I wanted. Now, this will slowly dry in time. So while you're putting this on the mini, keep adding little bits of water back into it to just thin it down just slightly. Now we want to put this over just segments because this is an acrylic based paint. So it will dry faster than if you were using oil. We're going to paint over your little sections at a time, and then we're going to use a dry brush and just wipe away or kind of just take away from some of the area that we want to be brighter. So that'd be like the edges and brighter highlights on the front piece. So if this was like the front of the leg, we would make this part in the front brighter, leaving the sides alone while keeping the edges nice and dark. Oh, and if it ends up being too dark and you're thinking this is too muddy, it's not wiping away easy, go use a very watery brush and just wipe it and it should come off right away as long as you act semi-fast. Now we're gonna go back to the brightest silver that we used before, which was Stormhost Silver, and we're just gonna use this very kind of sparingly. We just wanna focus on some of the edges that got darkened along with the wash, like some of the bolts, and I focused a lot more in with the helmet because I just really wanted to have a nice contrast between some of the dark and the brighter highlights. Next, we're gonna use some Imperial yellow, and I watered it down just slightly to where it's like an ink-like substance. And then we're just gonna focus on those middle areas on the hazard stripes, staying away from the edges because we still kind of want it to have that nice dark, grimdark look. So we're just gonna focus on the middle, and since it's slightly watered down, you can kind of build up in color and make it brighter in the middle and slightly fade out towards the end. Now for those glowy red eyes, we're going to use Evil Sun Scarlet. We're going to want to use a nice small pointy brush, and we're going to want to paint inside the eyes first, and then with barely any paint, on the brush at all. We're just gonna want to paint right underneath the eyes. Next, we're going to use some Troll Slayer Orange. We're going to want to focus most of the paint inside the eye, staying away from the edges as well as the corners. And it's okay if you get some of it on the rim of the bottom eye. Now you can get some contrast Imperial Fist and you'll put it on the very tip of the brush, and you're just going to want to put it in the very middle of the eye. Well, I see you've stayed to the end. In that case, subscribe or watch my next video. Or both! And if you want even more content, check out my gaming channel at Nuka Kitten Gaming.